Annie Cathy, Andrew Torney, Bryce Christensen, Kyla Leonard, Shane Stack, Violet Plummer, Martin Kitston, MCAT, and it looks like in 206 we have Commissioner Vero and Strohmeyer, Ann Hughes, and Vinny, last name Vinny, Havlish, County Attorney's Office. Did I miss anybody out there?
No, thanks. Is Josh not on?
I don't see him.
Josh is not on.
Okay.
No, he was meeting with Chet.
Okay. All good. Well, is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? Okay, consent agenda, nothing. Action items, Bryce.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I have a contract for you guys with the Lola National Forest, which is providing $25,000 to the Weed District for the development and implementation, or to support the development and implementation of Missoula County's Pollinator Conservation Plan. And that's an effort that we're taking on as, one, to protect pollinators, and two, to really kind of showcase how we can monitor the success of invasive species management by promoting, beneficial, not only beneficial plants, but beneficial insects. And so our hope is to have that plan finished through this winter and begin implementation next spring.
Fantastic.
Good. No questions. I would move that we authorize the chair to sign the agreement.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Is there anything super sexy that you want to share with Martin about the plan?
I think there are two, well, there's lots in that category. The two main things that we're moving forward with right now are the promotion of flowering pollinator lawns or landscapes. And so that is an effort. You may have heard of No Mow May. That is important campaign, but you need flowering plants in those landscapes in order to really benefit pollinators. And so we have worked with Westland Seed to develop a seed mixture that can be interseeded into a turf space that can provide flowering plants for forage for pollinators. And we'll be rolling out probably 100 sets of that mix to develop a map and basically create a corridor throughout the Missoula community to promote pollinators. The other one is we're working with a number of the state and federal agencies within Missoula County, MDT being one of them, to incorporate higher volumes of flowering plants in their revegetation efforts. So MDT has already agreed that they will increase the forb content of their seed mixes within rights of way within Missoula County to accommodate, more flowering pollinator habitat. And we'll be working with
like clovers and stuff, or something that stays close, low to the ground, flowering stuff, or what's?
Yeah, so we have to take into consideration their needs from that plant community too, and safety and line of sight is extremely important to them. So these are low growing plants that would provide forage habitat at the time when our pollinators are most active, which is May and June. So not impacting their mowing necessarily, not impacting line of sight or safety concerns. We will have a demonstration site going on South 93 South. This fall we'll be planting along that commuter trail. So we'll have like signage there to talk about which plants are important and how to move forward with something like that if you have a landscape that's similar. So we're working with all of those agencies to kind of develop similar things that meet their management goals, but also incorporate benefits to pollinators.
Just quickly, how are our pollinators doing here in this region?
That is a great question. So we've just brought on an entomologist and a botanist, Mary Rose Kuhlman, who is our habitat coordinator, and she had spent the last 10 years working at MPG doing a fairly comprehensive survey of our native pollinators. And through that effort, she was able to identify a number of pollinators that we didn't even know that we had. I think we have somewhere in the realm of like 250 native bees alone in Missoula County. We're lucky in that we have a lot of intact habitat already available as a source for those, but you know, urban landscapes, turf and ornamental landscapes are the fastest growing ecosystem on the planet, and we don't tend to think about pollinators when we're developing turf lawns or soccer fields or any of those things. So this is an effort to kind of shift and provide additional benefit in those spaces where we haven't really considered them. So to answer your question, they're doing well, but they could probably be doing better, especially in our urban spaces.
Hey, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Bryce.
Yeah.
Do we
See you at the fair.
Yes, we'll see you at the fair. Did we vote? We voted, didn't we? Just vote again.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that very important part.
Okay, thanks, Bryce.
Thank you.
Okay, Shane Stack. Amendments to the bill.
All
of
right,
project.
good morning. I think yeah, so this is the first item. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Okay, good, good. Yeah, I've got I think I've got 3 items coming up here, but so this first one is, yes, it's an amendment to DJNA's contract for the construction administration of the Mullen Build project. Originally, we had a sub-consultant scheduled to do all the independent assurance testing, which is essentially as construction is completed on the project, we actually have to go in there and test the materials, test the density, test the gradations of the gravel. So there's a lot of testing of materials that goes on. As part of that, though, we want to make sure that those testing procedures and testing results are accurate. So there's a certain amount of testing the tests, if you will. So that's that independent assurance piece. Early on in the project, FHWA communicated that we could have the same company that was doing all the testing also do the IA testing. Well, halfway into the project, they let us know that now we can't do that. So we had to go through and hire a sub consultant through DJNA to provide this IA testing. So this is essentially bringing on another consultant to do the IA testing work. So hopefully that makes sense.
independent testing of the testing. Okay.
Yes. It wouldn't be a federal project without all the tests.
Right.
All right, I would move that we approve the contract amendment with DJNA.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And
All right.
hey, Shane, you might have heard already, but late breaking news just minutes ago before getting on this call, I learned that the city was unsuccessful in their raise grant application for the build grant area. So
Oh,
two
that's-
unsuccessful
that's a bummer.
applications in a row. So
did they say, are there any details or why or explanation?
Yeah, I hadn't heard formally, Dave. I had heard more through the grapevine, but yeah.
just came out, so we'll be needing to regroup on that a bit.
Yep. We are not short of projects to be submitting grant applications for. So.
Other than that, yes.
All right, moving on. The next topic I think is is it the Snapdragon and Calder Lane and Thistledown?
Yes.
All right. So let me share my screen just to give folks an idea of where these roads are hiding. Let me know when you can see that.
Yep, it came up.
All right, so I'll kind of zoom out a little bit here. This is I-90 and Highway 93. And if you zoom into that running W area or the location of the kind of the military facilities out here on Highway 93, kind of give you the general location of where we're talking. But so if I zoom in here, Snapdragon Lane, these roads that are blue were at one time were this green shade, and now they are blue. Essentially, we're recommending to take over maintenance of this portion of Snapdragon, this loop, and we were not in the past maintaining it simply because the roadway wasn't complete. And so we were essentially waiting for completion as well as the ability to get turned around. So Snapdragon is complete now. Calder is complete and can be maintained, as well as the short piece of Thistledown. Thistledown was just paved, I think, last year. So these are all kind of relatively new roads in some respects, not all of them, but most of these. So we have agreed to take on the maintenance of those roads. So that's what we are recommending the commissioners do. Any questions with that?
Nope, I would move that we approve county maintenance of the roads so mentioned.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
All right, the last one, similar topic. This is in the Sealy area, so this is Highway 83 to the east. And as you turn off of Riverview Drive, you would be able to access these three roads: Grizzly Drive, Cub Lane, and Claw Lane. Claw Lane sits out here. So these are all DNRC leased properties, and per state statute, the county's not supposed to maintain state roads unless there's some form of compensation. And so in the past, the county has apparently refused to maintain these roads just because of that law. And so we've worked with DNRC, and the group of leaseholders out here has created a road user association. That road user association then collects fees from these properties that are leased, and they now will pay into that RUA, and the RUA will now pay the county to do road maintenance on Grizzly, Cub, and Claw. So it's a creative solution, and we've got an agreement in front of you to sign. If you sign that, then Public Works will be in a position where we can collect fees from the residents out here, and we can start doing regular road maintenance, both winter and summer and spring and fall.
And when we talked to us about this before, you were going to continue around the corner in the southeast, right? So it goes all the way around.
Correct. So let's look at Grizzly, for instance, where the blue line ends. That'll go up potentially. I think we talked about going all the way to this corner here. At a minimum, we can make it to this piece here. And then we would end at this driveway on Cub Lane. And then on Claw, I think we've got to turn around somewhere in this neighborhood here. And we can extend all the way down, but I don't think any of these properties are leased right now.
And there's like a Kelly hump or something in the way that prevents you from going further, right? Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yep. On Cub Lane, this road is Kelly hump right here. And so this is an old photo. You actually can't get through here anymore.
Okay. So we'll be able to provide service to anyone's residence there, correct? No one will be left out. Okay.
Yep. Year-round service. Yep.
All right, well, thanks, Shane and everyone else for working on this. This has been a thorn in the side for years and years. So I would move that we approve the road maintenance agreement.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Are we Kyla?
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane, yeah. Kyla, Big Sky Park Stewardship Committee.
Hi, Commissioners. So this is in regards to the Big
Welcome
Sky
back.
Park, and
It's great to see you.
thank you. So this is in regards to the Big Sky Park and Target Range. They're comprised of member representatives from each of the organizations who hold maintenance agreements and management agreements for the park, as well as representing members of the neighborhood. So the Big Sky Park bylaws require affirmation by the commissioners of the holders for these representatives. We have 4 new nominations for different representative seats. I'll just read them off. The Horse Council has selected Catherine Maslanka as their representative. The Fast Pitch Softball has selected Frank Hendricks as their representative. The Hellgate Hunters and Anglers has selected John Stegmeyer. And the Mount Jumbo Westside Little League has selected Greg Pizzolato as their representative. So this is just the formal process of accepting the nomination for these members to be part of that Big Sky Park Committee.
What would happen if we voted no?
They would
I don't
have
like
to
it,
choose
no.
a new representative.
Okay, I would move that we approve the nominations as presented.
Second, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyla. Housing Stabilization Program letter that we already signed.
Excellent.
Is there anyone that wants to talk about this? This was, oh, wasn't this the one that, that HR, Jim Morton presented?
Oh,
And we expressed frustrations of not being able to do multiple projects at once. Yeah, is it that letter? I don't know.
I apologize. I was not on the ball.
And I'm sorry, and I'm on my phone here.
Well, you can click on the link and view the letter if you want to see what we signed.
That's good public process right there. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, my phone is being slow.
I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
It's to Montana Department of Commerce, Community Development Division, Attention Consolidated Plan.
And Heidi's here. I can talk about it.
Oh, thank you
wonderful.
so much, Heidi.
I just
Okay.
joined in.
Wanting to watch us sweat here.
Yeah.
No, I can't ran from another meeting. So this is a letter that is a comment on the annual action plan to the Department of Commerce. And this basically they just put out every year how they plan on spending their money. And this comment relates to the housing rehab program that we have and basically encourages them to create a process where we could have more than one rehab project at a time.
Okay.
Because that's been it's a barrier to getting, things done. So if we could do one or two or three at the same time, we could get a lot more accomplished. So
And this was discussed at your public meeting.
Yes, yes.
A couple weeks ago or last week. or-
yes, yeah, and it's I realize this is not the cleanest public process, but the deadline was Friday for submitting public comment. So we had
And we've been frustrated by this for a while.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a just fine public process, Heidi, because you got the signatures when you needed them and you took it to a public meeting and now we're, yeah,
And
it's
we're
all
not
good.
rethinking our signature.
and we are not rethinking. Yes,
No.
you're right.
Yeah, please don't take those away.
No, emphatic no.
Okay. Thank you so much, Heidi, for popping
All
on.
right. Sorry for missing the beginning of that. Okay.
All good. Okay, wildfire update. Oh, we do have Adrian. Okay.
Good morning, commissioners. No news is good news right now, and it's remarkable that we've had as clear of air as we have had, and so count your blessings. We're continuing to just kind of monitor things in and around. There's been a lot of initial attack activity that fortunately has been taken care of in initial attack and has not escaped those efforts. But just for kind of your collective awareness, the energy release components, which are kind of the rubric that we use to determine what our fire danger should be, are trending and indicating that we are moving to extreme fire danger. And so expect to see Smokey's Arm probably change today. We were hopeful that maybe some of the moisture that was in the forecast yesterday would be a little bit more than it was, but had very little effect and was pretty spotty across the county. So expect to be moving to extreme fire danger come Friday, today, maybe.
So with
We'll see.
extreme, we're not in stage 2 or anything. So, right?
Correct.
So it's,
So
what
we're
means,
having discussions with all of our agency partners from the Forest Service, DNRC, and the tribe, as well as MCFPA, Missoula County Fire Protection Association, to discuss kind of when and if restrictions are appropriate. As you may recall, and several of our neighboring counties are moving to what they call stage 1 fire restrictions. in Missoula County, we have kind of a long history over the last 5 years or so of kind of not going into stage 1 fire restrictions because they tend to be pretty confusing for the public and they're really hard for us to manage as local government. We typically will go into stage 2 fire restrictions when it's appropriate. And what stage 2 fire restrictions do is they ban all campfires, and off-road travel. It really is a response to trying to really narrow down any of the human-caused fire potential that we can. And while the conditions are pretty ripe for going into stage 2 fire restrictions, we're just not quite there yet. We'll have another conversation on Monday. And the reason that we want to be just really diligent and intentional about when and if we do go into stage 2 fire restrictions is because we all need to be on the same page and we all need to be singing the same song, essentially, so that it doesn't matter if someone's on private property or if they're on Forest Service ground or if they're on state ground, if they're in a campground or if they're in their backyard, that the restrictions are the restrictions regardless of where they are. And so we tend to be pretty intentional about wanting to do that as a group and as a unit. And so Monday we'll have that conversation again.
And we're in drought response fishing restriction, or what's happening on the river right now?
You know, I'm not aware of any hoot owl or fishing restrictions on the Clark Fork right now. Some of our neighboring counties do have, those rivers do have some restrictions on when fishing is allowed just because of the flows. But having looked at the Clark Fork, the flows are really coming down pretty quickly.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, no fires to really update on necessarily, but our type 3 incident management team deployed to, at the request of the Bitterroot National Forest and the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest, the Hog Trough Fire. They were on that for 2 weeks and then transitioned to a type 2 incident management team. Got a phenomenal review from both those forests as to their management style and the work that they did. So that was fantastic. They'll be standing down probably for a little while here just to kind of take some vacation and tend to some stuff around here, but we'll see if we can't make them up and available again sometime this season for fires in and around the Missoula area and the Southwest Zone specifically.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, events, invitations,
Fair's going
go
on.
to the fair. Swing by the commercial building, right? And check out the passenger rail booth.
Yes, check it out.
And grab a cocktail. Within arm's reach.
Within arm's reach,
Yeah.
literally.
Okay, have a great day, everyone.
Bye.